So my understanding is we still have to file a response, so I guess it's moving forward in that regard. I don't know the whole procedure.
Good morning, everyone. I think pretty much everyone is here. I think we're missing Senator McKay because I think he's already in committee. But we do have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Delegate Valentine will do the prayer this morning.
Dear Lord, as we come to you today asking for guidance, support, and wisdom as we continue this meeting, help us engage in our discussions that are meaningful, not only to do the work, but also as we continue to serve individuals within our respective districts throughout Washington County and the state of Maryland. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Delegate. It's going to be a pretty short meeting. We have two items on the list under new business. The first is LR 2021. This was previously discussed by the delegation and voted on to move forward with the legislation. As you recall, after our meeting with the folks down at the correctional institution, there were two things that basically came out of the meeting. One was that they were being excluded from the pay increases granted to others, and they refer to it as bargaining unit H. So this bill does two things. It adds the lieutenant, captain, major, case manager, supervisor, or manager to that eligibility, that if pay raises are granted to others at the facility, they would also be granted to those folks in this category. And then secondly, they were also excluded from the retention and longevity pay incentive program, although they had previously participated in that. So this would also add those folks to eligibility to participate in that program. As you know, the staffing is still a concern at the facility, and if we can retain folks who could otherwise retire, it's a, I think, pretty good thing to do that. So that's the bill in a nutshell. Anyone have any questions? Delegate Grossman.
Yeah, I know I've highlighted this for the group already, but those individuals were actually seeking full bargaining rights, and HB 260 and SB 192 are heard on Monday, and they were down here to testify on behalf of that, which do give them those bargaining rights. And they did raise some concern with this bill that just being kind of brought up to the same bargaining status that others do without them having a voice at the table still does not fully meet their need of what they're looking for. So just putting that out there for the group.
Could I ask who you said they raised concerns? Who raised concerns?
I reached out to DSCPS workers, some of the same guys we had met with. I know Brad, I think, had reached out to you, to Delegate Weibel, to express that they wanted bargaining rights. And the issue I can read directly was with this bill is that it locks them into whatever somebody else bargains for them versus allowing them to have bargaining rights. So SB 260 and 192, I'm sorry, SB 192, House Bill 260 do give them full bargaining rights, and that's what they were here testifying on behalf of for themselves on Monday.
Okay, thank you. Senator Corderman?
Yeah, it's just a follow-up on Delegate Grossman. I guess if we can get some sort of clarity from that group, because I know Delegate Grossman and I spoke about it a couple of days ago. I was under the impression when we left the correctional facility back over the summer, it was kind of indeterminate if, because I think Senator McKay even put it out there, he's like, do you want bargaining rights or do you want to just have pretty much what this bill says? And there wasn't a real consensus. I didn't feel it that day. I'm indifferent. I mean, if they want to have bargaining rights, that's fine. I think we just need to get a clear indication from them as far as what direction they want to go. Do they want to do this bill or they want to test their luck with that other bill where they're under a much broader, bigger group? I don't know who they are, as your point there, Delegate Weibel. I mean, I don't know who the gentleman who organized the thing. I don't know if we run it by him, but someone needs to make a decision on their end. Otherwise, we're just kind of guessing what they want to do.
Okay, so I appreciate that. So just for clarification, I didn't come up with this on my own.
No, I know you didn't. No, I know, I understand that.
No, I worked with the gentleman who organized the event that day.
Okay.
He provided me additional information. We were back and forth on numerous occasions with the bill drafter to clarify what bargaining unit H was and what classifications we're referring to and all that. So, and he, unless I totally missed it, he did not bring up the fact that they wanted to unionize in lieu of doing this. So we were back and forth, as I said, multiple times, drafting this language. So
yeah, and I didn't get the impression we were down there that they were looking to unionize either. Now, Delegate Grossman has said something different, but
Yeah, I did stay after I think some of you had left and asked for clarity from the group of folks that stayed behind that included the case managers was, did they want to be brought online per kind of the language that's in this bill, or did they want bargaining rights? And what they said to me explicitly was that they wanted bargaining rights. Then when I was at the union holiday party, met with some of the lieutenants that were there, had the same conversation. And again, what they reiterated to me was that they wanted bargaining rights, not this level of kind of going back to that old, I think, model that they had shared with us where year over year they were kind of brought online or got similar raises. So when I saw the LR this morning, I reached out again and it says to me, we have lieutenants down here testifying and lobbying on behalf of 192 and 260. Folks definitely want collective bargaining to discuss conditions as well. So I am calling that out because I want to make sure we're not doing something that may not be in line with what they're asking us for.
Okay, I mean, if we want to postpone this, I don't believe we have a hearing scheduled for it yet. I can reach back out to the gentleman who had organized the meeting for clarification from him, again, exactly what it is they're seeking. But again, I've been working with him for information on this bill.
yeah, it seems, if you don't mind, Delegate Weibel, it seems like there's maybe a difference of opinion within their own group. So,
So really, they should vote or
Right.
have a consensus amongst themselves
Exactly.
as far as a majority. So if we want to hold it till we get that clarification, I'm fine with that.
Can you, is there a possible way for Delegate Grossman, whatever, Delegate Grossman, the people that you've spoken to, can you provide those emails to Delegate Weibel and you can put them all together and just say, hey, what are you doing?
Sure.
So just a thought. Because I suspect, Delegate Weibel, you're gonna email that guy you've been working with, and I'm sure he's gonna say the same thing, and then we'll be right back in the same position. But
Yeah, that's
they
why I
gotta figure
say
it out for themselves.
they need to reach out amongst themselves and figure
Yeah.
out what their consensus is.
Agreed.
So, all right, so what's the pleasure of the group with the bill?
I make a motion to table it at the moment and for further discussion.
Second.
When the time becomes appropriate.
All right, there's a motion to table until we have follow-up discussion with the folks who requested legislation, and there's a second by Delegate Grossman. Any further discussion? And for the record, Delegate Baker is also in the conference room here with me and Delegate Valentine. Any further discussion? None. All those in favor of tabling the bill for now? Aye. Anyone opposed? Unopposed. All right, thank you. This second bill, I apologize because I knew nothing about it until about 30 minutes ago. it was brought up in our Frederick County delegation meeting that a bill's been introduced to change language for deer hunting in Washington and Frederick County. So apparently currently there is a deer management region A, which covers Allegheny, Garrett, and the western portion of Washington County. This bill, Senate Bill 611, would also extend the ability to carry a firearm during hunting season, bow hunting season, to in the entirety of Washington County and Frederick County. I think as far as Washington County goes, it's probably good to do that, because how would a hunter know if they're in deer management A or not in deer management A, since it only covers a portion of our county? But again, just became aware of this bill during the Frederick County delegation, and I think it also would appropriately need a review by the Washington County delegation. So I'll open that up for comments amongst the delegation if anyone has any comments. Yeah, is there a motion to move forward or not move forward with the bill?
Motion to move forward.
A motion to approve the bill, and we basically would be providing a letter of support for the bill once it comes to hearing. And motions by Delegate Baker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Senator Corrigan. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor vote by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? I see no opposed. Another thing that's not on the agenda I would like to bring up as well. I did have a bill drafted that would look at a regional water and sewer authority. It's just a task force that would look at it. I did circulate that to everyone, including the municipalities, Greater Hagerstown, who also had concerns about it. This issue was also brought to us by Greater Hagerstown at our pre-legislative meeting, and I'd also made you all aware of it at that time. It would require a regional study to be done. And the question is who pays for that. The bill as I drafted it said had the state putting in $750,000, but I am going to amend that to bring it down probably about $175,000 that the state would contribute up to. We all know how difficult the funding is these days. So I'd like you all to read it and review it. There was one other change I'll make, because it's on the what the task force is to provide would also be the results of the study. So that was omitted from the recommendations at the end. So I will be making those two changes. So Senator Corrigan.
Thank you. So a couple things real quick, just for clarity for the good order in the group. The Senate version had to be filed because the drop date was on Monday. Just because it was filed does not mean it's moving forward. We will obviously still have to continue these conversations with the delegation and vote appropriately. But if the bill was not put into the clerk's office on Monday, it was in essence dead. So just to calm everyone down, that I've heard of some folks out there that just because it is in there doesn't mean it's moving forward at this time. That being said, I look forward to the continuing conversation. Question real quick for Delegate Weibel. If you have the 750 down to 175, do you know, or maybe even the city of the county has an idea, because I know that this was brought to us by the coalition, which both those entities are members of. Do we have any idea what the actual study would cost? Like if we drop it down to up to 175, obviously there may be an additional cost. Are we going to maybe write in there that cost will be shared by both the city and the county? Just something to think about. I didn't know if we had any idea what the overall cost of this may be.
I don't think anyone does. I mean, I had discussion with some folks who have performed these studies elsewhere, but I don't have any indication of the cost.
So I guess, but again, back to whatever the number is we put in there, I get that there should be some sort of language that says that, you know, if it's not enough money, that cost would then be shared by the two entities, I would assume. Like, it's up to the two entities, obviously. But that would seem equitable, but again, I would defer to them.
Yeah, the bill also indicates that there would be participation by MDE, and sometimes they can find funding as well. So that was my goal there, to hopefully avoid any any of the local costs as much as possible.
Right. No, I don't disagree.
But,
Some
but
language
there
there.
may need to be language that, and you know, if the body's willing to do that, that costs above and beyond what the state puts in may have to be picked up, you know, by other sources.
Okay.
Delegate Grossman.
Thank you. I just, in reading the full, I think language, there's also some pieces in there that look to be a little beyond the scope of what GHC was requesting, specifically around the review of alternate types of governments and operations of the water system that this task force would be tasked with. So from my perspective, that is not what the GHC ask was. It was about a 30-year kind of projection of what our long range needs are going to be and what resources and infrastructure, what infrastructures needed and what resources needed to be put in place to put that there. So would suggest we strike that language.
So if you could get those to me by email, I would appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you. Mr. Vice Warner.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate what Delegate Grossman said. The Community Coalition request that relates to a master plan for water and wastewater which has been in the coalition packet at least the last 2 years, if not 3 years, has been requesting funds to create a master plan and in coordination with all the stakeholders related to the use of the city's water system. And there was never any indication or willingness to move towards any discussions based upon any governance of our system or any of the other systems in the county that are run by the municipalities. So I just want to state that from the city's perspective as the representative on the Community Coalition, this is not what GHC advocated for by any means as it relates to governance.
All right, thank you, Senator Corrigan.
No, and I just kind of follow up on Scott and Delegate Grossman's point earlier in regards to governance. And I think I know you've requested Delegate Grossman to get some information to you, but maybe best if there's anything in the bill as it's currently written that's causing heartburn for the municipalities and or the county, to get that to us as quickly as possible so that can be amended in a fashion that's amenable to all. And again, I would just make it clear that this is not Greater Hagerstown's bill. They are a member of the coalition. This was brought forth by the coalition that there are multiple members of. So understand that it may not be correct. We need to work through this. I think to continue to say this was Greater Hagerstown is advocating for this is not accurate. So it's supposed to be a collaborative effort. That's the point of the coalition. So hopefully these entities that are within it, the city, the county, and us can work through this, and we can come up with some language that's amenable to all to look for the long range planning, I think, which is what the intent of this is. So thank you.
Correct. And we all know that DLS was very much delayed in getting these bills back to us this year. And this was one of those cases where I didn't see the draft until it basically had to be dropped.
So to that point, Delegate Weibel, I got this bill at 4:45 on Monday, and it had to be in at 5 o'clock. And so that's why it was in when it was. There was zero time to review it, zero time to get it out to anybody. We will take that proper time to make sure everyone is, again, okay with it and as we move forward. So I do have a question, though. I'm hearing we have the city and the county here. I did hear something yesterday. Is there a lawsuit with the city and the county in regards to water going on right now? Because if that is the case, I mean, that's obviously more reason why we need to continue to have this conversation. Is that an accurate statement?
It is not, unless there's something I'm unaware of.
Okay, thank you. That was something I heard down here. It was the first I heard of it. I checked some media sources. I did not see anything, but I did want to inquire on that. So thank you, Kirk.
And Scott, you're not aware of any? I've never heard of one.
Not on water,
But sewer?
not on sewer.
All right.
Anything else you want to tell me about?
Nope.
All right, thanks.
All right. Ms. Gordon?
Yes, I just wanted to reinforce the county's position regarding potential need for a regional water authority. More than 60% of the city's customers are actually non-city residents, and we believe that that should be an actual consideration when looking at a long-term water study for Washington County.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Anyone else? Again, it's a very fluid document. The reason I asked my aide to send it out to everyone, all the municipalities, the city, county, is to review it. And if it needs to go to reprint, we can certainly do that. But it basically, as Senator Corman said, gets the dialogue started. And as we all know, it's a big ticket item for everybody, every municipality. We go and talk to the county, the municipals, everyone has water and sewer issues. And I think if we work collectively together to resolve them, we're in everyone's best interest. It's a big ticket item, a lot of money out there. And I think all this study would do is just look at at ways to solve that. And honestly, maybe, it was patterned after what Baltimore City and Baltimore County did. So, but the advantage they had is that they already had a study commissioned. And then once the study was completed, they formed a task force. And maybe that's what we do here is we commission a study to be done, and then we organize a task force afterwards to review the results of that study. So I'll just throw that out there if that's an approach that we want to take instead of this trying to put everything in one bill. We could certainly do that as well.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly, Kristen.
A very simple question. Maybe I'm a little confused between this bill and the ask from the coalition, but I was just curious if this bill includes the word capacity anywhere within it.
As I recall, yes, it does.
Okay.
It talks about capacities. That's one of the things this study would look at.
Yeah, I was just trying to find that word. I couldn't find it in the bill.
Yeah. It should be in there, but I can go back and review and we'll get back to you. Are you talking about both water and sewer capacity?
Yeah, just the word capacity itself. That was
Okay.
the original intent of the request. So I was just looking to see if that word was included in the bill.
Yeah, it should be. Anyone else? And then one other thing that came to my attention today, and DLS did a presentation to Frederick County in regards to the direct and indirect compacts to that county from the budget. So I thought this may be the last meeting. Obviously, from the discussion, it won't be, but I'd also, our next meeting, want to arrange DLS to present to us as well, the impacts of the budget on Washington County. So we'll probably be meeting at least one more time. Any other comments amongst the delegation members? Anyone from Senator Quarterman?
Yeah, just real quick, just as I went through here to answer Councilmember Alshire's, there's specific spots in there in the bill. It says future system capacity expansion. So capacity is identified in there in two different places. So if there's any clarity needs to be made in there, again, I would suggest the entities involved to get that to Delegate Weibel so we can make the appropriate changes if there are any, but it does speak to capacity.
Thanks, Senator. Anyone else? Anyone from the public that would like to make a comment this time, please state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, is there a motion for adjournment? Motion by Delegate Baker.
I'll second.
Second by Delegate Valentine. Thank you all.